All right, so this strip, this is Cove strip. I like using Cove strip. It's a plastic strip that has an adhesive back on it. Okay, I'll have one of the guys pull a strip out of stock, and you measure up 4 inches, you make your mark, or use a laser. Okay, sometimes the floor will take a dip and come back up. Don't follow that. Make sure this is straight. Okay, because if you follow the 4-inch height off the floor, it's gonna look bad. Okay, sometimes looking good is better than being actually exact. So sometimes it might be 4 inches, it might drop down to 4.5, might come back up to 4 inches. You're never gonna be, well, I can't say it can't be less than 4 inches, because there will be sometimes the floor might have a hump in it, and it'll be less than 4 inches. But you wanna have this uniform, especially if they're gonna be putting FRP or any kind of wall coatings. They want that bottom line level so they can apply it right perfectly to it. Okay, and sometimes with tile, the last thing they want to have is tile that has to follow a wavy base. Okay, so what Daniel's doing now is he's priming our surface. He's putting it on the plastic and on the wall and a little bit edge on the bottom. Okay, I usually just stay about 1 inch away from it is what I usually do, and you're going to do this before you install the floor. Okay. So you prep the floor, everything's ready to install. You can start doing your crack repairs, your patching, all that. But now you're starting to install your cove base first, because your cove base has to be applied on the wall. It comes down to the floor, and then from there, once this is dry, you come back the next day and you do your floor. Then when you finish off with your grout coat, your finish coat's over the top, you're also coating the cove base at the same time. So now it's all one piece. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to apply it.
What exactly is this product name?
This is using our 9600 Bright Cast CB Cove Base kit is what this is. Okay. And the trowels that I'm using, hope they're clean. Ooh, can we have a little bit of sandpaper? Yeah, they're not clean. Whoever cleaned this for me last didn't do a good job, and I didn't check them. You got to make sure your trowels are nice and clean, and you got to do this before you start mixing everything. These were not clean well for me from where I was at last time, and they've got material on them. If there's material on them, it's going to stick and drag your cove base. So I'm just going to take some sandpaper and just clean these up real quick. If you keep your tools clean, they will work well for you. If they are not, they're going to make your life a lot harder. There we go. It's clean. Okay, so you can't have resin build up on them because they will actually start to build up. Now this actually isn't a cove trowel. This is actually for a sidewalk inside corner, for like where the riser and the sidewalk meet. That's what this is actually for. But I actually started using these. I found these are much easier to use than a typical cove trowel that actually has a further piece that comes out further than this. Now, if you're applying a thin mill system, you're going to apply this all the way down to the ground. If you're going to apply a 1/4 inch floor, like a urethane cement, something that's quarter, you can't apply this to the floor because then the floor is going to rise into the riser. And for that type of situation, I'll put a strip of wood or anything that's 1/4 inch thick on the floor, and I will trowel onto that 1/4 inch piece so that then my floor is going to match the height. Do you understand? Okay, because if I'm doing a thin mill, like a color quartz or flake, this is fine, right to the floor. But if the floor is going to be thicker, like it's a epoxy mortar, urethane cement, I think that's a 1/4 inch or more, okay, then you can't put this to the floor. It has to be held up higher, whatever the thickness of the floor is. All right, in this case, though, I'm going to use it this way. All right, so our cove mix is right here. The first thing I do is I'll take some out. Now, in this case, we're using the 25 sieve. To be honest with you, I can't remember the last time I used the 25 sieve. And I'm just going to put some on the wall. Thing is, you don't want to have too much, because if you have way too much, it makes it harder to trowel this out.
También se podría usar como para moldes, para moldura.
No vas a usar. Oh, ya, sin instalar esto, ya. Este no es una aplicación que vas a hacer para casas, es para comercial. Yeah. All right, so now I'll take my trowel. Put your gloves on. Okay. I'm going to push down, and I'm going to push in and down and pull this out a little bit. So I'm putting pressure this way. And now when I get to the end, I'm not going to go all the way, and I'm going to come back in like that. Now I'm going to take away all my excess from here. And I'm going to finish it off. Okay, so now for this side, and now I'm going to take it off. You can do it. Okay, you can do it after I do this corner. Okay, so now I'm going to put some on this side. I'm only going to do this portion. You can do the rest. So I get all my excess off of here. Okay, so now I'm going to take my trowel, and I'm going to come in this way. I'm going out from the corner. Okay, here's another trick. I like to take my trowel. If I'm doing my outside corners, I'll put my cove trowel there. If I need some material, I'll take some and pack it in here. Okay, then I'll take this trowel and I'll come back out and back in. Put this trowel there. Come out, come back in. And it gives you a really nice crisp finish on the corner. Yeah, there's a little bit kneaded up on the top. That's probably because the plastic is loose already from being used so many times. There you go. So it gives you a really nice crisp finish. Some don't want it so sharp, and if you want it a little bit rounded, you just take your cove trowel and round some of that off. Okay? All right. Daniel's eager to do it. Push down to get rid of that big. See, when you have a lot there like that, it makes it hard. I found that you actually take some of that off. And as you're doing your floor, clean up, as you're doing your cove base, clean up the floor. Don't let all this material dry on it, because then you got to grind it off. Then you're going to clean off the surface of your cove strip. You want to look to see that you're not thin or thick anywhere off it, so it's even. And if you did damage the top when you cleaned it up, then you just run your trowel back over the top, okay, to clean that up.
Yeah.
Now,
I get too much here.
Yep. So the other thing too is you want to make sure when you're troweling this out that every once in a while you're going to look at the cove on an angle to see if there's any start-stop marks on it. And if there is, you just go through with more pressure. Oops. Well, I have a lump here. Yeah. They didn't go through and finish those out. Now the thicker 25 sieve quartz is definitely not as forgiving as the 40. Okay. There's something on this trowel. Somebody's grabbing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you go through and make sure that if you see any waves there, you flatten them out and get rid of them. Okay. But the more even you apply the quartz on the wall to start with, makes the installation way more easy. If you have it all thick and thin and thick and thin on areas, now you're battling with your trowel to flatten that out. So make sure when you're applying to whoever your helper is, that they're putting an even amount on the wall and not leaving too much on the floor, because you see how there's way too much here. You want it thin and flat, like this section here. Okay?
It's no good.
Yeah, you just have to push down. Yep. So yeah, if you have less on there, you don't have to work so hard. Yeah, the 40 sieve is easier. The 25 definitely takes a little bit more.
The big one, right?
Yeah, this is the big one. Yeah, this is not as easy as the 40. So anybody want to try the trowel? You could go ahead, put some gloves on, try it. But put some gloves on. Yeah, if this was actually a job itself, I would want to have all those areas where it's not closed up tight, worked a little bit more pressure in, yeah, and flatten them out a little bit more. There you go. I'm actually flattening it out a little bit, but all right. So now on.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
One time we were doing the floor, we had a xylo to spray, or was like overheating.
Okay.
So our floor was coming out, so we stopped using xylo for the cove base.
Yeah, well, xylene is pretty hot. It's a pretty strong solvent. I don't like using xylene myself. You can mist a little bit, only mist it. I like using
alcohol.
I like using isopropyl,
yeah.
or I like using acetone if I'm going to use something on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I personally don't like, because xylene breaks down the epoxy really quick. Yeah, it breaks it down really quick.
Yeah.
Okay, cuando lo aplicas, quieres poner suficiente, pero no bastante. Okay, porque si pones bastante, el mortero se cae. Yeah.
Are you guys done with this side? So we can start straightening.
Yeah, you can start cleaning it up.
Okay.
They're going to use these still. Yeah.
Okay.
And I need the trowels.
Okay.
¿Suficiente así?
Yep, pero si miras como estás un poco grueso. No, está bien, ya, está bien. Ya, pero vamos a sacar un poco de esto. Ya. Déjalo que sobre. Ya. No, they're still going to use a trowel on the side. Yeah, we still need that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So like what Matt asked about earlier, if you want to make a display unit like this and then make up your kit, but don't add the part B to it.
Right. It gives you more
play
time.
with it for 45 minutes, an hour, or something like that, where you can really practice doing your inside-outside corners, which are going to
Yep.
take you the most time in general. So,
And after you take it out.
yep, yeah, you just take it off, wipe it, solvent wipe it, and then you can do it. So it's good to make.
Oh, you're doing good. I haven't even had to correct you yet.
You can even just
Okay. La única cosa, cuando vas a hacerlo, póngalo en un ángulo Okay. Empujas adentro y para abajo y necesitas levantarte de aquí también. Okay. So cuando entras vas a hacerlo así. Okay. Pushing in and down abajo así para hacerlo más nivel y suave. Okay. Go ahead. Y cuando vas a jalarlo para atrás cambias y pones la presión en frente. Sí.
Así está bien.
Y este tamaño de la sílica no, es más difícil para usarlo. El más pequeño es más fácil. Yeah, this is a little harder to use, a 25 sieve, to compact it tight versus the 40 sieve.
Así quedó bien.
Yeah, yep, it's looking good. You guys are actually doing a pretty good job.